Hello everyone, Sons and Look 2, welcome to another comparisons episode, this time on cosmetics. So, first we have Armor Disguise, which adds the ability for you to visually show what sort of armor you want, but you still have the other as protection underneath. So you want to display dyed leather armor, but you still want to have the protection of diamond instead of having the protection of leather. You can have both pretty much available like so, with diamond as what you actually wear and the leather as what people actually see. Otherwise, you've got a cherry blossom mod that obviously adds in different types of trees and woods and such, like so, as well as a different biome. You've got solid blocks as a way of adding in different types of blocks with stronger colours. You've got Presence Footsteps as a way of adding in additional sounds. So if you want to have it where you can get more sounds to add to the game, I don't think they're all sort of atmospheric in a way, but if you want it to be that they have sort of more immersive sounds at least, when stepping on top of wood or stone or even certain other things like a shulker box, for example, and you have obviously a bunch of different sounds that you can have applied. We have double slabs to allow for slabs to be sort of a bit more easy to place, and I can't remember if you can combine them or not, but yeah, sort of makes slab placement a bit easier as far as I remember. You've got Name Pane as a mod that adds the ability for you to have the text change colour depending on the actual amount of damage you've taken. So you can see if with just the regular, it goes from white to yellow to orange and then to red, the more damage you end up taking, which is obviously determined by your health. You can also change this however you want, so that you can change the text colour, and then it will sort of change the colour values accordingly. And then you can also change the actual nameplate as well. You've got carpet stairs to add the ability for carpets to be placed on top of certain other blocks a lot easier, as well as other different types of carpet, as you can see there. So you can place them on top of stairs, as well as obviously have wooden carpet, rather than having to rely on slabs. You've got Fancy Menu to have different changes to the splash screen or main menu. You've got Geostrata as an example of a mod that makes World Gen more interesting underground. There isn't any images, but pretty much it adds certain things such as steam vents, smoke vents, and a few other things, as well as sort of changing up the World Gen for real rock types. And it might reflect sort of the results in different biomes, with things like mud, limestone, changes to oceans, and other such things. You've got EmbellishCraft as a way of obviously applying things from older updates, if you want, to newer versions. Sorry, new versions to older versions of the game, I should say. You've got things such as Garden Gnome here, so different types of smaller mods that add in other decorations. You've got changes to horses if you want, for their different patterns and breeds. You see quite a lot here. You've got Jojo's Bizarre Clothing, adding in a bunch of different clothing from Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. Obviously there's a ton of other mods that do things like adding in assassin clothing and certain other stuff, obviously I'm sort of going for there. You've got other mods that add in obviously different block variations for different purposes. So you've got filling in sort of gaps of things like stairs, slabs, buttons, pressure plates, walls, and more. You can get an idea here. They also do connect to gates as well. You've got bamboo blocks as a way of adding in different types of uses for bamboo, for decoration and builds, as you can see there, with also additional things like thatch, for example. We have masonry for adding in certain means with the stone cutter, as well as obviously different patterns and sort of looks for stone related blocks. We've got chisel, which also adds in additional and a ton of different block types as well, for enhancing things like wood and stone and metal, to obviously a bunch of other different types as well. It can suit many different types of builds, so a bunch of interesting looking ones, a mix of bookshelves, changes to stone, prism, and more. You've got ultimate compression as an example of compressing blocks, which you could obviously use for decoration or just for survival means if you want spaces in your chests. And they obviously have different textures to have it easy to differentiate between the compressed versions. So if you want them to look a bit darker in comparison to their regular versions, use that for decoration besides survival means. That's an option. We've got EmbellishCraft for adding in a ton of different things such as paved blocks, as well as tables and crates. Let's go to the image here so you can get a better idea. So you've got tables, different types of the blocks, pillars, wallpapers, stone, walls, tables and chairs, metallic blocks, fancy doors, and such. And concrete. You've got Forbidden and Arcanus, which, well, for different purposes does have a bunch of different decorative options. So you can see candelabras, and candles, as well as mystery trees and a few other things. Got illuminations for adding in fireflies to the world for ambience, which you can get either with just the grass or I think even fireflies in a bottle, which also applies I think to the fabric version rather than the forge version. But yeah, so just keep that in mind. You've got water erosion for changing up the world to make it so that water will erode aspects of the world. And there's different rules to consider. There's also decay hierarchy for blocks as well.